I'm going to show you my method for double flaring this copper nickel alloy brake line. This is the line you want to use anymore if you're replacing your brake lines, at least in my opinion. It's a lot softer. You can bend it with your hands. Doesn't kink very easily unless you put a really sharp bend in it without putting it around, something round or something when you bend it. You can put it over that and bend it. But anyway, I've struggled with these flares a lot, and I think I've determined that it's because most of these tools were designed, there's my double flaring tool along with the rest of the kit here. These tools were designed to work with the normal steel brake lines, and you've got to modify your method just a little bit. So I was working with 3/16 today. I'm done with my project, but I'm just going to share this with you guys. Of course, you put it into the 3/16 outer diameter size there. That's how brake lines measures, with outer diameter. And the amount of stick out beyond the main frame of this tool is supposed to be the same as the width of this insert. You can see the different line sizes have different inserts. I'm working with the smallest, this 3/16 size, and so you're supposed to have a stick out that would go about, you get the idea, but let's just get it. You'd want stick out that's about right there. I've found that this creates a bad start on the first step of this double flare. It's almost as if this stuff is too soft and creates too much bulk out here on the end to get a nice straight square flare on your line. I go about 75% of that depth, 2/3 to 75%. So I'll stop it right there. We'll tighten this guy down. The other thing I was assuming, because this is softer line, I was screwing my flares up a lot, I was assuming, well, I'm going too hard on these flares. The other thing you want is some lubrication on this, so nothing binds up when you're doing the flare. I tend to use a little cap full of brake fluid and just leave my insert in there and then pull it out, and it'll be nice and wet with brake fluid when I do my flares. It's still pretty wet from the last one that I did, but I don't have any brake fluid left in that cap. So you'll put in the insert, tighten your flare down on it, or tighten this guy down on it, and you'll do the first step of your flare. And I was going too soft before, but I wrench this thing down about as tight as I can get it with a normal ratchet or wrench. You don't want to go like a breaker bar type, but basically when it stops with a normal ratchet or wrench. And what was happening is this wouldn't even be laying parallel with the main frame when I was going a full stick out as described in the directions for this flare kit. So second step, take the insert out. Get your little flaring tool dealy here, put it back in, and same deal, wrench down all the way, and this will force it to center back up if that first step got it off center. By going down nice and tight, it'll force it down center back in this thing because of this slight taper that's here. That's supposed to help create a good flare. And with the taper, you need that taper in there to get the flare right, but it'll also recenter this thing and the line itself back in that slot. A lot of guys tell you, oh, it's important to, so you can see that flare came out pretty good. A lot of guys will say, oh, well, you gotta file down on the top and get it nice and flush, and then you got to get your deburring tool on the inside. Sure, that never made my flares worse, but it never made my flares better either. So I stopped doing that part, and I just don't go as deep on my depth, and I wrench down harder than what I was doing before. So if you do that, maybe it will help you too. I hope it does. Good luck with it. Try not to get frustrated. It can be kind of frustrating. You cut your line to length and then you get the flare wrong and you have to readjust things, and then your line may not be long enough. I know it's frustrating, but maybe practice a couple times using the new method and see if it works well with the flaring kit that you have. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.